Hello there, Kathy Madhavan here again, your resilience training kind of, well, I'm gonna say expert, except for I'm working it out as well, but your resilience training encourager. Maybe that's your trainer. I'll train alongside you. We're training together. That's what we're doing. But like these online fitness coaches, I'm training alongside you in resilience and interesting times, isn't it, to work out how to grow stronger through this time, grow better and not bitter, as they say, in what is a challenging time. And I really wanted to talk to you today about choices that we make. I talk a lot when I'm places about making wise choices. And I feel like this season is a time for making wise choices as far as we can, in circumstances that are suboptimal in every way. And in the book, Irrepressible, that I wrote, which is about principles for a courageous, resilient and fulfilling life, feels like very relevant for right now. One of the chapters I write about in here is a chapter about doing the next right thing. Doing the next right thing. So this is about when we don't know what to do, when a lot of our choices maybe have been taken away from us, when we feel a lot of uncertainty or doubt or lack of confidence, whatever it might be. There's a lot of that swirling around right now. Just here, I feel the same as well. How do we make wise choices in the middle of that? And I've got a great quote actually at the beginning of the chapter from Do the Next Right Thing from Martin Luther King Jr., who says this: if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward. And I just find that really encouraging at a time where, to be honest with you, moving forward is taking some some perseverance and some resilience, because it feels like a lot of obstacles to doing what we would normally do. It feels like obstacles if you are, if you're single and you're living alone, to make wise choices about what to do when you're limited in your interaction, or if you're at home with family, in trying to work from home, that's all kinds of other challenges. Or maybe you're a key worker right now who is going out and about and you're having to face all kinds of fears and hard work at a time of uncertainty. Our heart just has to go out to each other at this time, doesn't it? We all have to work this thing out together. So how do we do the next right thing in seasons like this? I think this is for me this is working out the difference between what I can do and what I can't do. So looking at what I can do instead of the very long list of things that maybe I can't do. So there are things that I am responsible for, and there are things that I'm not responsible for. And there are things I can control, and there are things I definitely can't control. So what is the next right thing for me to do in this season? Because we've got to, it's one of these situations where we've got to go through it. It's not an option. We can't shortcut this process. We can't forward wind it. So we have to make some different choices. And I remember there's been quite a few times in my life where I've thought, I'm not quite sure what the next step for me is. And I've had to work out what the next right thing is. And if you're like me, if you're a self-employed person at the moment whose work has disappeared, you would think, well, what's the next right thing to do in this period? Is it that I fill one of the spots in the local Tesco that are hiring for workers? Or is it that I cut back on my subscriptions to TV channels, or downgrade my phone package, or you just budget more carefully about food, things like that? There are some next right things that we can do. If you're isolated at the moment and you're feeling, you're feeling lonely and you're feeling like really disconnected by people, there are lots of things that you can't do about that, but there are some things you can do. So what is the next right thing that you can do? So is there like one person a day that that you could call? Is there a local Facebook group that you could join? Is there a community group or a church that you could get in touch with? Is there one thing that you could do? And I think it's so important. This is not a moment to say, well, I can do everything, and to pile pressure on ourselves. We all need to learn, I think, in this season that good enough is good enough. I've missed a couple of writing deadlines in this season already, because life just doesn't look normal at the moment. But what is the next right thing I can do? Well, I can sit down and do some editing today, and I can press, forwards on that button. I might not get stuff done in the way that I normally would, and the people I normally work with might not be available in the way they normally would be, but there are some things I can do. So what are the things that you can do? If you've got family who are away from you, my daughter's still in another part of the country trying to work out how to finish her degree when university's been cancelled and her graduation's cancelled. Well, what is the next right thing that she can do? What structure can she put in her day for learning? With so much motivation gone around exams, how can she stay motivated? She can structure her day, or what are the goals she can put in place to make sure that there are things she can do when there are so many things that frankly you can't do. There's so much we can't cook as we normally cook, but what are the things we can do? So I would be really interested to know, what are the things you can do? What is the next right step for you in this moment? Because if we're not careful, some of us are going to feel stuck and demotivated and a little bit lacking in any energy. So what is the next right thing that we can do? Just one thing that will actually take us towards where we'd like to be, where our goal would be. What's the next thing that would take us towards where we like to be? Or what's the next right thing that we can do to take us away from where we don't want to be? So if we don't want to be discouraged, we don't want to be isolated, we don't want to be bankrupt, we don't want to be whatever, what is the next thing that we can do to avoid those circumstances and to actually face the direction we want to be traveling in? Maybe you can't do it all right now, but you can do one thing. What's the one thing you're going to do today to actually take you towards where you want to be? I would love to know. The one thing I'm going to do is get a bit of editing done and to phone my daughter and my dad today. So that's what I'm going to do today, and I'd be fascinated to know what you're going to do. Speak to you soon.